All right, let's top this thing off before we go into making this into a sprite. I want to have a thrusting engine at the back. Now I'm just going to take one of the engine lights, the blue too, and just copy it out. Let's put this all in. Let's call this wings. Let's call this, well, it's already called cabin. Engine, yes, engine 1. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to put this one over to here and actually turn it into an engine. Now what needs to be done, of course, is change it so that it looks like it comes out of this. It doesn't have to be properly fixed here because we're seldom going to see the back, but I'm just going to plop it in like that. And let's go to the details. Outer radius, yeah, that's all perfectly fine. Visibility, it's 600. Outer distance, let's punch this up. Use fall off, yes, and inner distance. That's going to be right in front of here, and it's going to drop off like that. Now let's see what we got. It will look blue, and I don't want to have it looking like that. Outer distance can even be more, greater. We're going to actually get into trouble with fitting that into the image. Dithering, I can put up 40 and use a gradient. Yes, we're going to use a gradient. Let's go from white to orange to blue. Let's see what that does. Yeah, very nice. It's only a little bit too heavy. The white bleach is out completely and it's now in steps, so we need colored edge fall off. That's slightly better. Let's put the orange a little bit more in the middle and take this brightness down. 300 should be okay. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Right, so we got the thruster at the end, and maybe we can overdo it. Bump up this a little bit, inner distance, pump it up a little bit more, and let's see what the details. The circumference should be right now. It's like this, and pump it up a little bit. Don't put it over the geometry. This looks pretty cool. And I can even, if I go to coordinates and just make the y-axis, not the y, let's see, yes it is a y. Let's make that 0.8. So I can squeeze it here into the engine itself. Right now it's not doing that. So let's make it 0.6. That's too much, 0.7. And just crank it so it fits right in there. Just a little bit more, like this. Great. Let's see. Right. Now we can put on a cockpit. Now I would prefer to just put a bubble on air, and that looks kind of neat. And if I just take a sphere and I make that into a hemisphere, that should do the trick. And let's make it slightly smaller and put it up here. Now I'm going to use the reflections, and if I remember correctly, I had reflections switched off. So I need to put that in there. Make a 4 for reflection depth. That's fine. And I'm just going to add a deformation. And it's going to be a FFD. Why not? Because I love using FFDs. I fit it on, make it slightly bigger. And now I can just, first of all, just rotate this so that it's on the front and make this slightly smaller, right? It's a little bit off, it seems. Let's see. It's exactly on 0. Maybe should make it a little bit smaller, like that. Right. Now the FFD comes in because I want to make it a little bit more cool. As for shape, and I'm not gonna add points. I'm just gonna take this corner here, these 2 points, and these 2, and just stretch them over and push them in a little bit. And then I'm going to take this sucker and actually squish it way over here. Like that. And then take these 2 and stretch it way out there. Maybe just push it in like this. Maybe the one in the middle should be a little bit up here and then slightly down. Now, obviously, it doesn't have that many subdivisions, so I'm just going to yank up the number of subdivisions. Let's put it up to 40. And is it coming loose here? Nope. It's stuck into the other geometry. Great. So now we got this, and we're just going to finish this one up with a texture that is reflectant. Yes, very reflectant. And it is also highly specular. A lot of fall off. Maybe even a bit of a inner width for the highlight. And I'm going to put an environment map in there. And I use an HDRI for just plopping that as a fake environment. I should fix this. That's sloppy. Oh well. And I'm just switching off the anti-aliasing. I don't need it. And I'm making the color of this like, let's see, a bit of a purple on the purple side, pretty black. And I'm just going to plop that onto, and that looks rather cool. All right, I've decided not to do the guns. You can figure that out for yourself with just using the technique that I use for the engines, and the effects animations would be separate sprites from the ship. So right now we're going to go get this rendered, animated, rendered, and make this into a sprite sheet.